God knows your lonely souls. God knows your lonely souls.
So Max, what has been the team's focus when designing levels for Assassin's Creed?
Well, a big focus was to make the environments realistic, but also to make them fun. Like you saw our free running, right? The parkour that we're doing. The environment is very realistic, but at the same time they had to make nice little setups so that you could be from the ground, be able to free step, to free run up to the rooftops, things like that. Also making sure that the AI could navigate around because, yes, you can run away from the soldiers and go anywhere you want, but the soldiers need to run after you. So that was a nice challenge for the team. And also obviously with the realistic look, all the cities have a different look and feel. Like Acre, for example, it was just under a big attack. So when you're arriving in Acre, you can see heads on pikes and things like that. It's very realistic. You can feel that there was, a big battle that was there.
Tell us about the different challenges and difficulties you've had in this game.
Well, I think a big challenge was to make the game as realistic as possible while keeping it fun. For example, the sword fighting is very realistic. The swords are always touching. And, we compare our fighting to games like God of War. And it's God of War is very fantasy, so there's a lot of special moves and flying in the air, and the sword's always going through the characters. And for us, what we really wanted to do was to make it realistic. So it was inspired from realistic sword fights, and that brings a bigger challenge because you can't have swords going through the characters all the time. So each time you get attacked, even if you take a damage, well then you're blocking, but your character's going backwards, things like that. So that was a very big challenge for us. But I think we're really happy with what we have now because it's realistic. It's also very different from other fighting games.
You mentioned earlier that Assassin's Creed is a very different game to be working on than what you worked on before, which was Rainbow Six.
Yes.
In which way?
One of the big challenges on Assassin's Creed is that the gameplay was totally new. For us, we had never made a sandbox game open like that. A game like Grand Theft Auto, and we have some similar inspirations in that. Also, I think another source of inspiration for our running away, for example, is the latest Need for Speed, when the cops are after you. So the challenge was to really be able to get that feeling of you're running away, a chase, almost like in a car, but with free running in a city with crowd, with a lot of people in front of you. So that's why we have, when you're running, you have a button to sprint, so you can go faster, but you have a button to tackle the crowd, to go through the crowd and push them away. So that was a very big difference from Rainbow, where on Rainbow, we pretty much knew what was gonna work. We knew how to make first-person shooters. We knew how to make a Rainbow Six game. We just had to make it even better, make the experience a lot more interesting. So on Assassins, the challenge was really to really find our gameplay, our fun, and really we had to iterate a lot. So that was.
So you've been experimenting a lot in Assassin's Creed. Is there anything that you've wanted to do in Assassin's Creed that hasn't been possible?
There's always a million things that you want to do. You start at the beginning of a project and there's all this you want to do, and then as you move into production, there's less and less time and you need to focus. And it's okay. It's okay because it forces you to focus on what's going to be the best. I think a little example is swimming, for example. We don't have a lot of water in the game, but we have a little bit. And then at one point, there was just no time to do that. So Altair, when he falls in the water, he drowns, just like in the first Grand Theft Auto. So maybe if there's an Assassin's Creed 2, we're gonna work on that. There's also other things in the fight. We would have I think, to add more things to the fight, different moves, maybe more actions for the player to do. But it's always, I think, you start with your big idea and then you finish with this, and it's still a lot. In your head, it's always smaller than what it really is.
So what level of AI can we expect in the game?
I think what's interesting with the AI is that there's a lot. So the level of AI is really realistic. We're doing full crowd simulation. So people are walking, they're looking at things, they're shopping. We've got merchant stands, so the guys in the stands are trying to sell stuff to them. They're doing that. The crowd is continuing to walk. We've got orators that are talking to the crowd, and also the crowd's reacting to that. And then suddenly, you arrive and you disturb that, and you can use the crowd to your advantage, or sometimes if you're not careful, the crowd's going to be a disadvantage, but the crowd's going to react to what you do. So for example, you might be walking around, and then you know that you need to go inside a castle and there's soldiers outside, and then you take your time, you wait, and there's just a single soldier that's walking. You go behind him, you stealth assassinate him, and then you just walk away, and then the crowd goes, they react to the dead body. The soldiers that were blocking the castle come and they check what happened, who did this, who killed this guy, and then you just go around and you go inside the castle. So I think the crowd, what's interesting with Assassin's Creed is the crowd is an ingredient for you to play with. It's not just there to make the world feel more alive or more realistic.
You've also received a lot of criticism on when you've assassinated somebody and you're surrounded by soldiers.
Yes.
That only one soldier at a time would go in and attack you.
Yes.
Why have you chosen this approach to it?
Well, again, it comes down to realism. We wanted to have a realistic fight system. And then, if you watch movies and things like that, the main hero never gets attacked by 20 guys at the same time. If you watch Star Wars fights, or, it's to have a cool fight sequence that feels like it's been choreographed and that offers fun gameplay, we had to limit to one encounter at a time. But it doesn't mean that our fight is not deep. Like say for example, you've got 5 guys fighting you. You start fighting. We're simulating a whole moral system for the fight. So you might start fighting, and the guys are going to be very aggressive, attacking you. And then you spot who's the leader that's giving them orders, and then you quickly kill him. And then the other soldiers are going to be like, oh, they're going to be more careful, defending, blocking more. So you can really feel the morality of the fight. You can play with it to your advantage. If you kill a lot of people real fast in the fight, if you're getting really good, then the other guys are going to run away. So that's why our fight is different. It feels realistic, and I think it's really fun.
So how do you get from one city to another?
We've built a huge kingdom. So when you leave a city, you arrive in the kingdom, and there you can use the horse. You can use any horse actually, and so it's a huge landscape that we've created, nice mountains, and then you go from one place to the other. We've also hidden some flags in there and some Templars that are there for you to kill, and obviously there's some soldiers. What's interesting with the kingdom also is that all the soldiers in the kingdom are looking for you. They know what you look like and they're looking for you, so it's a bit more aggressive. You can run away if you want on the horse, but if you stop and you fight, you're gonna have some very interesting encounters.
Is there going to be any fast travel between the cities?
I can't talk about that.
How much interactivity will you have with the environment outside of the cities?
Well, it's the same as in the cities. We have little villages that are there with buildings. We also have big towers where you can go do viewpoints to get information in the area. So it's about the same as in a city, except a little bit less buildings, and you get to ride your horse. Yeah.
So what is your favorite feature or moment in the game?
My favorite feature is definitely the free running. I think the Assassin's Creed provides this freedom of movement that we've never had in a game before. It feels supernatural, it's super well done. It's like the perfect marriage of gameplay and technology together. It's not just, pretty graphics, it's not super, something that's super fun, but that has, already been done. So I think to me that's the best moment. That's the best gameplay feature. For the best moment, I think we have some really good dialogue in the game, and there's a lot of lines that I really like. So I'm not going to talk about my favorite moment because it's in the story, but I think people will have fun listening to the dialogues and the conversations, because some are really interesting and they make you reflect on things that are a bit greater than what we're used to in video games.
So how has it been working on a game that has been anticipated for so long?
It's very stressful, obviously, but I think it just puts more pressure on us to do the best we can. Obviously, the last 9 months have been, very crazy for us. We've been working really hard, trying to polish the game and make it as best as possible. So obviously, it's it's good because we are super happy that people are excited about the game. At the same time, we're super, every little detail we see, we want to fix and make perfect. So it puts a lot of pressure, but I think it's good pressure.
But are you happy with the end game?
Yeah, I'm very happy. I think as artists, we always want to do better. We always want to do bigger. I think, you know, we could work on Assassin's Creed for another 20 years and make it, you know, the perfect game maybe. But I think right now the game, you know, the game is ready, and it's time to give it to the players so that they can see everything that we've made for them.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Max. It was lovely meeting you, and good luck in the future.
Thank you very much.